everything has been how everything has been kind of kicked upside down with technology and social media. And so if anyone's interested in talking about that, just at any moment, let me know. But yeah, as soon as technology came in, at the beginning it was with a wireless telegraph that later became the radio. And after that, with the TVs, you can see that it starts moving much quicker. The first TV prototype was in 1927. In 1946, there's already 6,000 TVs. And only 5 years later, there's 12 million. And 4 years later, half of the homes in the US have TVs. So you can see that humans, as soon as we can get our hands on information and see what's going on around the world and connect with what's going on, we go to that, right? We're social beings. We gravitate towards that. And technology can provide that very, very quickly. And so this is kind of like the timeline just kind of goes to show you how quickly we started to get connected. And then as soon as the internet came along, that just kind of really blew up. So there's a bit of a difference between the first version of the internet. It's called the Web 1.0. That's what started in the 1990s. People were kind of weirded out about it. Like, what is this internet thing? People thought that it wouldn't really leave like the universities. That's kind of how it started for research and people to be able to share different academic papers with different universities through the internet. Later on, they would start to get published, and that would become the first version of the internet, which was very static. It was just to read, and there really weren't any hyperlinks or links between pages. There weren't any communities. There wasn't any type of chatting or any type of video or like paying for something or buying something. But still, there was a dot-com craze in the 90s where these companies, without really making any money, but people were just kind of betting on the internet, were worth billions and billions. And then all that came crashing down. And the ones that we know today, some of them are still alive. Those were the ones that really gave some value. And then what happened in 2000, around 2002, 2003, there was a new aspect of the internet, of the web, and that's what people call Web 2.0. And especially it's interactive. There's user generated content. You can collaborate. There's social media, and so for example, Facebook is the one that we all know, kind of started around that time. And you can also buy and sell things. You have Uber, you have Airbnb, you have Amazon, you have e-commerce. And at the beginning, people thought the internet was crazy. Then they thought no one would put their credit card, and just things keep on happening. Technology kind of keeps on prevailing. It just keeps on moving forward. It's unstoppable. And it's kind of crazy. To sum it up, you can see here the timeline, how at the beginning things move very slowly. It takes a lot of years to make different changes, to have innovation. And as soon as technology starts to kick in, everything moves very, very quickly. And I'm sure we're all very aware today that we live in a super connected, fast-paced world without any type of attention span. Everything is 30 seconds, now, ads, buy, I want it now, same day delivery. I want my food now, I want to stream my movies now. And yeah, also, sorry if you hear some noise, there's some celebrations going on around my area. So it sounds like a little bit explosions. But all this quickness and all this speed, it can't really be predicted, right? Like technology, you can't really know what's gonna happen. And social media really wasn't made to take over everything, and to take over editorials, to take over radio, to take over television, to take over newspapers. All these things are in decline right now. And right now, how do we connect? How do we consume news? It's mostly through Twitter, through Instagram, through Facebook, through WhatsApp. Newspapers are in decline, readership is in decline, subscriptions is in decline, as well as television. Everything is moving to the online world. This isn't good and it's bad. It's what's happening, and some of these things can't really be predicted. And the way that social media is set up, which is what I'm going to be focusing on right now, isn't made for us to get news, to connect with what's going on around the world. Social, and it ends up creating these bubbles, like this picture here, where everyone is connected through their computer, through their phones, but at the same time they're in a filter bubble. That's kind of what I'm going to explain now. Social media is basically a personal feed, right? Like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, it's all personal feeds. And they're based on your likes, your follows, and your interests. And the more that they know about you, the algorithm is going to keep giving you the same type of content. because it's made for entertainment. So for example, if you like burgers, you're going to keep getting that type of content, and barbecue. You're not really going to see vegan food. If you like tennis, that's the type of content you're going to see. You're not really going to go into boxing. And that's great. And these platforms, it works very well because everyone's completely addicted to scrolling through Instagram or TikTok or Twitter. And it's great for entertainment. But when it comes to current events and politics, it kind of just also applies to that. So it just keeps giving you the same content. So the same ideology, the same perspective from the same region. And we've seen that happen, and it kind of becomes radicalization, it becomes populisms. For example, one good way to put it is during the US elections, there's a red feed and a blue feed. Red feed is for Republicans, and the blue feed is for Democrats. For Brexit, there was the people that were for Brexit, they were all seeing the same type of content. It was favorable to Brexit. The opinions were according to that as well, and it's all the same. The people that were against Brexit, they were also seeing the same type of content. But these two groups did not interact with each other, and the red feed doesn't really interact with the blue feed. It's these are the filter bubbles that are a problem in today's society, because they don't really allow for an exchange of different perspectives, of different cultures, of different ideologies. And right now, when talking about anything that's to do with current events or politics, it seems like it's a football game, like it's like a Madrid Barca. I'm from Spain, so that's kind of like a good way to put it. But it's very tribal. It seems like people can't agree, like everything is black and white. And that's not good for the way that we progress as a human race. We need to exchange different ideas, and it's not all black and white. There's usually a middle part, that gray area, and we need to take things with perspective. We need to have debates, and this has a lot to do with languages as well. And different languages don't really interact. Social media isn't really made for you to kind of, it's not designed for you to connect with the world. It's designed for you to keep scrolling through a timeline so that they can show you ads, because that's their business model. And that's also not a good thing or a bad thing. That's just how it is. So this kind of like doesn't allow them to focus on breaking filter bubbles or focusing on connecting people or creating a healthy debate and finding solutions, because that's not how they got into it. That's not why they exist. They exist because it's a timeline for funny, entertaining content for you to keep up with your friends and for your family. But it kind of just became how we all get news, how we all connect. And they can't just change from one day to the other. It just changed their business model after so many years, after they have so much money put in, and that money comes from investors, and they need to pay it back. So they need to run those ads. So this is a problem in today's society. And I'm talking about this because I'm the co-founder of Loop Media. So we decided to kind of try to attack this problem and try to have an impact. And so what we do is, we thought, like from the very beginning, we thought, okay, if people need to see the same content in order for someone from, for example, Nigeria to connect with someone from the US, and then someone from Spain, or someone from a different mentality to connect, everyone needs to kind of be able to see the same content. It can't be like a timeline or a feed that's already like predetermined for you, and that's just going to keep feeding you the same content. So how do we set this up from the beginning? Like, it can't be a timeline. We thought everyone needs to see the same thing, but if there's going to be millions and millions of users and a lot of content, you need to segment that content somehow. You need to kind of like divide it. And so we thought by region, by the globe, after some brainstorming, we thought that using a globe and segmenting the content by region was the only scalable solution that we thought. So for example, you can see here in our app and on our web that if you go and you scroll to Africa on that map, you'll see content from Africa. If you go to Europe, you'll see content from Europe. And then this content is articles right now, and they're all translatable. Like that, everyone is looking at the same map of the world, and they can all end up in Latin America or in Africa in the map, and then check it out, find the articles, translate it in any language, so it doesn't matter where you're from. And there can actually be these actual global connections. And right now we have the continents. So Europe, Africa, Latin America, North America, Asia, and so on. And later on, what we want to do is to go to more and more concrete regions. So from continents to regions to countries and so on. And like that, basically, people can just choose their own algorithm. You can go to region, then we want to add categories. So I want to see what's happening in India that has to do with politics and so on. It's kind of like choosing your own algorithm. And at the same time, we need to have translation so that there aren't any language barriers. And that's kind of our idea. So we thought, okay, we launched this first version, and we saw that it didn't solve such like an immediate frustration, and that a lot of people were focusing on the articles, and that they wanted to publish articles, and they didn't want to start a WordPress or a blog from scratch and worry about SEO or marketing and so on. So we also give them all those tools to publish. Sorry, excuse me. And yeah, right now we're in that phase of launching and testing out with some writers. And really what we want to is create global connections and debates about current events and the issues that affect us today. I'm gonna drink some water, sorry. and we need feedback. So if anyone is interested in checking out the webpage or the app, it would be great to get some feedback. I would also love some questions.